So today I'm doing a watercolour. I'm just checking to see if the cable's trailing across the picture. I can't see it. I'm doing a watercolour of some lovely, beautiful roses. Here's one of the roses here. You can see that it's got sort of like green and yellow undertones behind the bud, which the rose is actually a red rose. So perfect for practicing for your Valentine's Day cards. I'm going to be using a number 5 brush and possibly a number 9 brush as well. I'm never sure about whether I need to put it on. I've already painted in one rose here, so you can sort of see the colours that I'm working with. So I'm working with the yellow I'm using is the Naples yellow, alizarin crimson together with cerulean maroon to give this really deep red. Could put Morton violet. I haven't actually put on here yet, but it goes in the leaves to give them this really, really nice dark green colour. You could, if you haven't got that colour, you could use a bit of blue in with burnt umber and then make the green with that. It's sort of an earthy violet. So I'm going to start off by just putting a little bit of water on the rosebud here like this. And I'm doing this because I want it to be nice and loose. I'm not putting it on the leaves, just on the rosebud. And then I'm going to put a little tiny bit of yellow into that, just so that it's this Naples yellow deep is actually quite a strong yellow, so you have to be a little bit respectful of it. Take off the top of the leaf there, and then into that. Then this is how I do all of the buds. I'm going to drop in a little bit of alizarin crimson to start to build up. I'm not painting it amazingly accurately. I've drawn it quite accurately. You can see the underlying drawing. So because I've done that, I don't need to worry too much about letting the painting be accurate. My old painting teacher years ago at college used to say, keep the drawing tight and the painting loose. So here I'm just dropping it in with the end of the brush. Quite a dense mix. And I think that's enough on there. I'm going to put in a little bit of maroon, just where I've got the more intense colour, and a tiny, tiny bit of Payne's Grey. Now you have to watch Payne's Grey because it can be a bit savage. So just a tiny bit, a couple of places to just give it a bit of a dark. And that is really, I'm just moving that across a bit because I don't want it to be confined to just one spot. And again, we're here where I've accidentally dropped it onto the top of the leaves. Oops. I didn't mean to have that much water on the brush. I'm just going to blend that in because when you come to put your greens on, which I'm going to do next with, again, putting a layer of the yellow underneath and then putting the green into that. It's quite nice to have it running a little bit into the two. So the green I'm using is chrome green. You can use sap green if you haven't got chrome green. In fact, sap green might be better, just that I don't have sap green. Or you can mix your own green. If you mix with the lemons, blues with the lemons, you get a really nice lime sort of green. If you mix it with yellows and use a Prussian blue, you'll get a really nice sort of sage green. So have a play, you can mix lots of different greens. There we go, so I'm just putting some little bits down there. And then where we come down the stem here, you can see with this one, I've used alizarin crimson, so I'm just going to put a little bit of pale. It's supposed to be pale. Not be good at mixing my colours today. Just to get it, we find with rose stems, they quite often have a tinge of the colour of roses. They're not straight green or straight brown, which is quite nice, I think. It's about paying a bit of attention to detail. So, and the little leaves tend to be paler. So put the little leaves in a pale green. And yellow. You can use, as I said, you can use lemon. I'm just using chrome green and Naples yellow because I wanted that sort of creaminess. There's a slight creaminess in it. And then when I come down to this leaf down here, let's just pop the bit of the stem in first. We've got a little bit of a, quite nice to put tiny bit touches on. This leaf here, we're going to do darker because it's a bigger leaf. So I'm going to start off by, again, putting, my water is, you will have nice clean water and so you won't be able to see your water, and my water's got a little bit mucky, but I've not bothered to clean it because it's you can see it better on the video. I didn't clean it, so I'm giving it a bit of, just a little bit of light greeny yellowy colour. Something I've mixed off the side of my palette, and then I'm going to put a bit of this kaput in with the green. So there's the green, that's chrome green, so it's a very green green. It's a bit of Payne's grey in there, so I'm going to put a bit of that in so you can see that it turns into a sort of mucky green. So with this mucky green now, I'm just going to drop that in so that you get, I'm not painting it solidly, just giving a little bit of it where I want it to be a bit darker. There we go. So that's the darker leaf in, and then I'm washing off my brush, drying it off a bit, and then I'm just going to put touch alizarin crimson in, because again there is a sort of hint of it in the leaves. I think you have to sort of look at your subject. If you're a painter like I am, in that your style is quite loose, it's not photoreal, it's not trying to be exactly, then what you're doing is you're looking for the essence, the character of whatever you're drawing, and picking that character up and putting it in. So I'm just putting in there a little bit of that you can, if you think it's looking a bit more like a variegated leaf than an actual leaf, then wash it in a bit, and that'll bleed together and dry really nicely. I'm going to put a little bit of Payne's grey in it as well, just in areas so that we can see that it is it is a dark leaf. You can put little bits of Payne's grey as well on the edge of your upper leaves. There we go. Just to give it a bit of definition. And there, putting that chrome green on the top just gives it that nice depth that it comes in with. So that's the way to go about it. Keep it nice and loose initially, you're painting. Build your colour, so build the yellow on, and then the alizarin, let it run, let it have its head a bit, and you'll come out using the way that only watercolour can work, which is it's absolutely beautiful. You have to sort of give watercolour a little bit of its head, otherwise if you try to constrain it too much it'll just look horrid. Of course, if you don't constrain it enough you can't tell what you've done a picture of. So I quite like wet in wet. If you the thing to remember with wet in wet, if you haven't wet the paper it won't run into it, so it'll only run into areas that you've already wet. There we go. I'm going to finish this video now, let you all have the only thing I'm going to do is in this little area down here I'm just going to mix a little bit of alizarin with Payne's grey to get a purple, because it's quite nice if you get a bit of a purple going on in these roses. Sometimes the Payne's grey on its own is a bit too deep, so I'm just putting in a bit of purple there. In fact, I might see what I've got. Violet in one of my many trays, which I have. Here we are. The only way you can get really violet is by buying the paint. So this is, I think it's Windsor Violet. So let's put a bit of that in, because I just wanted to get a bit of a blueness in the bottom and some of the places on the rose. And I might put a little bit of that in down. And then I'm going to stop. There we are. Enjoy yourselves. So here is my final piece of 3 roses. I've really just used the same rosebud and pulled a few petals out of it here and made a composition. I've just finished it off with a little bit of splatter, which if you've watched my other videos you do by loading your brush with your paint. I'll just do a little bit of yellow on here to show you how to do it. So I'm just mixing up a bit of yellow here, like that, on your brush. Hold your brush over your picture and tap it against your finger, and you'll just have a little splat. Don't get carried away with doing that. It's great fun, but you can't control where it goes, and before you know it, you've got far too many splatters. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm Karen Stone. I'm an artist who lives and works in the Midlands. These are my details, and there are painting kits on my Etsy shop that you can paint along with me with, or there are actually original demonstration watercolours and other paintings as well. Here are the details. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.